want to get your take on Israel. Another ceasefire has collapsed. How is this going to end?
Well, I think you look at most of the Arab countries, they've been, I think, very quiet in criticizing Israel. Hamas is a dangerous group of terrorists who wants to destabilize people and governments and take away people's rights. And Israel's position is that rockets have been fired from Gaza. They have a right and an obligation to protect their people. Israel, in all fairness, 13 years ago pulled out of Gaza, demilitarized it. And today you see Egypt and other Arab countries wanting to contain Gaza and keep the borders closed, as does Israel, because there are terrorists among their midst. And unfortunately, the Palestinians are paying a terrible price. It is a great tragedy because Hamas is putting themselves and their rockets in places where if Israel strikes back to stop the rockets, which they have no choice, you're unfortunately going to see casualties. And I think, in all fairness, Secretary Kerry, at the request of the president, has been trying to find some solution to the problem. But whether there is a solution to the problem, I don't know. There's no simple answer to these kinds of things. You can't walk in and say the good guys are wearing white hats and the bad guys are wearing black hats. You don't know. Everybody's got the same color hat on. And that's the thing that American troops have had to deal with in Iraq and Afghanistan. Exactly the same thing. You can't tell who you're fighting in this kind of war.
It's difficult to watch the images that we air on our network and other networks. This week, a school attack that had thousands in there. It was described as bloody mattresses, children killed who were sleeping next to their parents. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said Thursday, "Nothing is more shameful than attacking sleeping children." Did Israel go too far?
Israel cannot have a proportional response if people are firing rockets at their citizens. Can you imagine if one of the contiguous countries to America were firing rockets at America? The same people who are criticizing the Israelis would be going crazy, demanding the president does more. Unfortunately, if Hamas hides among the innocent are going to get killed because Israel just does not have any choice but to stop people Hamas firing rockets at their citizens. They have a right to defend themselves, and America would do exactly the same thing.
Doesn't the Geneva Conventions lay out that you cannot attack schools or hospitals?
Nobody's attacking schools or hospitals. We're attacking Hamas. But Hamas is standing in the middle of a hospital. If they're standing in the middle of a hospital and they're firing rockets at your kids, what would you expect us to do? Would you really want us to not try to stop them? And unfortunately, if there are innocents getting killed at the same time, it's not Israel's fault.
The White House called that attack totally indefensible.
It was. But look, this is why we thought the ceasefire was so important. And Secretary Kerry has been working vigilantly at the president's direction to be a constructive force. It's a devastating situation. Israel absolutely has the right to defend itself, and we are Israel's staunchest ally, but you also can't condone the killing of all of these innocent children. And so we're very concerned. We're monitoring the situation closely, and Secretary Kerry will do everything within his power to try to be helpful here.
You're very close with the president. I mean, how does he feel about this?
He's very, very concerned, obviously.
Is he frustrated by the inability to?
Well, sure, he's frustrated, of course. I think everyone involved is frustrated, but you can't let your frustration get in the way of trying to be a constructive player here, and that's what he's determined to do.
Valerie Jarrett, Mayor Bloomberg, great to have both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with our panel.